Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically clanging calamitous chimes.
I'm Amber.
And here are more calamitous chimes for us to clang. I got that one in one shot today, folks. One shot. Wow.
Stay
Incredible.
tuned to the end.
Alright, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Threatening to Kick Out My Niece After She Hacked My Daughter's Roblox Account? I'm a 38-year-old female, and my daughter is a 13-year-old female, and she has been playing this game called Roblox since lockdown first started as a way of playing with her friends virtually, as well as curing her boredom. She was obsessed with this Roblox game that's set in a school because she missed her friends so much, and it allowed her to stay connected with them. Her interest in video games has developed into an interest in technology. She's by far the top of her IT class and has even started learning how to code in order to make her own games. My sister, a 34-year-old female, and niece, a 10-year-old female, have recently had to move in with us after my sister discovered that her husband was having an affair. They're staying at my house for the time being while she saves up money for a place of her own. My niece and daughter usually get along, and they both bond over their interest in Roblox. Last week, my daughter was completely distraught and crying nonstop. She said that she saw her cousin playing on a Roblox game and realized that her cousin's avatar had a lot more items than usual. She decided to join her only to realize that her account had been hacked and she had lost nearly every item that she had on her in her favorite Roblox game. She had lost 800,000 of the in-game currency and nearly her entire inventory, which she claimed was worth over 5 million of the in-game currency. She had spent the last 4 years saving up for those items and everything was gone just like that. My daughter began accusing my niece of hacking her account. My niece denied it at first, but quickly broke under pressure and admitted to everything. The previous day, they had been playing the game together when I called them down for dinner. My niece had only been playing for a few months, and I supposed that she would be considered a noob. She begged my daughter to give her some of her items, and my daughter refused, saying that she could earn the items herself. When my daughter came down, my niece decided to stay behind for a moment and transfer all of my daughter's items into her account. I tried to mediate the situation, but my sister is refusing to cooperate. She told me that it's only a game and it's not like my daughter spent real money on it. I attempted to explain just how much this game means to my daughter, to which my sister said that my daughter should count herself lucky if her biggest problem is a bunch of pixels on the screen. She said that my daughter was a teenager now and too old to be acting this immature over a game. My niece refused to give her stuff back and says that it's unfair that my daughter gets to have everything that she wants both in real life and online. I told my sister and niece that they both were acting like ungrateful brats considering how I was letting them stay in my home rent-free. Today I gave her an ultimatum. If my niece doesn't return everything that she hacked from my daughter, they would both have 1 week to leave. I told her that I refuse to let anyone disrespect my daughter under my roof. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. They stole from your daughter and, you just want recompense. Like, you're doing them a favor by letting them stay here.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to let them stay here at the expense of your and your daughter's well-being.
Yeah. Well, I think that's really what this boils down to, right? They are being ungrateful, like OP said, and the niece, instead of working hard to earn all the stuff that she has, she is demanding that OP's daughter give her stuff, right?
Right. And I mean, the niece is little, so I understand the impulse to want to take things and have them instantaneously. But OP's sister is a grown adult. Mm-hmm. She should have immediately demanded her daughter give the stuff back and apologize profusely. Mm-hmm. The fact that she's doubling down and supporting her daughter's theft is very concerning.
Yeah. And I mean, like, people are going to, of course, have differences of opinion about whether or not digital items are actually valuable, but it still took the daughter time and effort to earn those things. And if it wasn't a big deal, then she wouldn't have stolen them in the first place, right? Mm-hmm. And another kind of thing is that 4 years ago, OP's daughter was 10 too, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's taken her 4 years to accumulate all this stuff. And that is something that the niece could look at and say, well, in 4 years, I could have the same kind of stuff that that the niece has, right? So I think that this is terribly short-sighted and really not a good situation at all. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Bamf1701 says, not the jerk. I'm getting so tired of people telling other people that they are too old to love the things that they love. Let people enjoy the things that they want to enjoy in life. It doesn't matter if your daughter is too old for a game or if she doesn't spend real money on the items. What matters is that your niece stole from your daughter and your sister wants to give her no repercussions for this action. How much longer until your niece decides that it's not fair that your daughter has something else that she doesn't have and takes it from you? Or that you have something that she doesn't and she takes that? Theft is theft. And if your sister doesn't put a stop to it now, it can start a slippery slope, especially since your niece has seen that she has her mother's approval. Yes, your niece has been given a raw deal, but it's no excuse to steal, especially from someone who not only had nothing to do with why she has a bad situation, but who's also sharing her home to try and help her out. Both your niece and your sister have taken your hospitality and broken your trust. And Mibbling says, agreeing with you and adding, real money isn't real either. It's a bunch of data that we all collectively agree to imagine moving around in exchange for goods and services. Your daughter worked for those imaginary resources and received them. I work for imaginary money and I receive it. I can pay the mortgage with my imaginary resources or buy silly things that make me happy or play games. She can play games which make her feel good and connect with friends. It matters just as much as if it was real money. I mean, I think that they do have a point, but I mean, you can always go to a bank and pull out money from the bank and make it turn into a physical object, right? And or purchase stuff that has physical manifestations in the real world.
Well, I mean, but accounts like that, you could sell online for a good chunk of change too. So the daughter's account probably does have monetary value as well.
I imagine it does have a monetary value that you could put onto it. So I'm not saying that it doesn't have any value at all. I'm just saying that the, imaginary currencies don't necessarily have the same real world manifestation as like actual physical goods, but I mean, to Amber's point, it could, right? All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for being snarky with my mother-in-law after she made a rude comment about my name and saying that she didn't want her grandchild named like me? My husband and I are expecting a baby. We have not announced the name or the gender of the baby yet. This will be announced after the baby is here. We will do this after we are positive of what name will be going on the birth certificate, and when most people will hopefully know, and it's extra rude to make negative comments about names. We do expect some negative thoughts. It feels like my in-laws especially have very weird ideas on names. The name Alexander is fine, but Alex or Alec are horrific. Jacob is great, but Joshua is awful. Ava is so sweet, but Ada is cruel to give to a child. You get the idea. My husband's brother and his wife have a little girl called Lily, and the comments, because they announced it during the pregnancy, were awful. The other element of all of this is my name. My name is unique and natural. Think like ocean or lark type of unique type of name. I love my name, I always have. I wear my name with pride as a 30-year-old woman. My mother-in-law hates my name. She never has said anything to me before now, but I heard her and father-in-law discuss my name, and mother-in-law make some very rude comments about my parents for naming me the way that they did. When my husband and I announced my pregnancy, mother-in-law asked about the names, and my husband told her that we weren't even going to reveal the names until after the birth. She asked enough times after this that my husband has had to tell her to stop. He has shushed her, and we also have walked away sometimes. She told me that it was worrying how quiet we are being, and to please tell me that we're not going to go with something as truly awful as my name is. She told me that she doesn't know what my parents were smoking or how much they resented me when I was being born, but that she did not want her grandchild to have that kind of name. She told me that a normal name was needed. She told me that she knows that I wear my name with so much pride, and it's better not to give me ideas to think that it's okay for naming her grandchild that way. I told her not to worry, that she shouldn't have to worry about what her grandchild's name is, because we wouldn't dare make her put up with us anymore, and we should say our goodbyes now. She was horrified and made it clear that it wasn't what she meant. I smiled at her sweetly, and I said that I couldn't possibly ruin her life anymore by making her interact with someone whose name offends her so much. And I told her not to worry because we would make sure that the name we chose goes on the birth certificate before anyone finds out. My husband heard the last part of what I said and laughed. And then we left. My mother-in-law wasn't happy and told me that I responded like a petulant child, and now her worry is worse because she's so certain it will be another Lark or Ocean type name. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. It is your and your husband's say whether your child's name is, not mother-in-law. She is allowed to have all her weird preferences for her own kids, but she is not allowed to impose those on other people, and she's acting like she has claim over her grandchild.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there are certainly, like, certain names that should be kind of not given to children, and I think that sometimes parents name their kids things that aren't good to name them. Like, we had a story recently with someone who was named Pennsylvania, and they ended up renaming themselves to Penelope because they hated the name so much, right?
Right.
And I think that this is really important, that when you do name a kid, you recognize that they are going to be their own person, and that you should be compassionate and give them a name that isn't going to cause them a lot of bullying or hurt or heartache, right? So, but it sounds like the names that OP have pushed around aren't even weird names. They're very, very normal names.
It's very arbitrary. Like, it's not even all biblical names are okay, but because you can do Jacob, but not Joshua. Like, it's entirely arbitrary, her whims and whatnot. It doesn't seem like there's any, like, oh yeah, I'm only offended by X names. It's like, this one just sounds weird to me, so I don't like it, and you shouldn't use it either.
Well, I also think it's more like a control type thing.
Yeah.
Because it seems like she wants to name the kid a certain name, and so any other names she says are cruel, right? And so any name that isn't on her short list of names to name the child is cruel because it's not on her short list.
Yeah, and I'm glad OP's husband has been shutting down his mom and they've been leaving. Maybe it's time to just not visit her until after the baby is born and named if she keeps this up.
Yeah. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And BS Mom says, not the jerk, please name your child something that you both agree on, and make good on mother-in-law having zero access if you hear a peep about the name. She's being a petulant child and being a jerk. And Wordy Instance 730 says, and please tell your mother-in-law that you named her Princess Consuelia Banana Hammock. And Purple Pro 78 says, you should send her a birth announcement just to her with a fake name that you know she will hate, not the jerk. Allow me, a name nerd, to suggest some names that will horrify a classic name lover. Phoenix, Aspen, Ajax River, Skylark Ocean, Lachlan Oak, Wisteria Lynn, Flame Elder. Please feel free to steal any of these names for your fake birth announcement. For your information, I think that natural names are adorable, and while they aren't to my tastes, there's nothing wrong with them, and I wouldn't judge anyone for giving them to a child. The fact that your mother-in-law thinks that she has the right to express her opinion on names of your child is just weird. I don't like my youngest nephew's name, but I've never told my sister-in-law that, and he's 11 now. Alright folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
Kevin, what a terrible circus. The knife thrower was the worst. And why do you say that? I thought he was great. Kevin, how could he be great? He threw all those knives at that girl and didn't hit her once.
Kevin, go and get some therapy, get some counseling there, buddy. I think that's probably what's going to be needed here, buddy. And I have Earl Grey. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy, fantastic Friday, folks. I can't believe it. We made it to the end of the week. Thank goodness. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance. And please, have it pleasing.
No advice can please everyone, but I'll say, you folks are all looking wonderful today.
All right. I guess that is a...
It rhymed. I don't know what I'm doing.
It did rhyme. It rhymed. We'll give you some points for rhyming. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically clanging. Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically clanging
Calamitous.
Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically clanging calamitous chimes. Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically clanging calamitous. Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically clanging calamitous. Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically calamitous. Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically clanging calamitous. calamitous. Chimes. Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically clanging calamitous. Clanging calamitous. Chaotically clanging calamitous. Chaotically clanging calamitous. Chaotically clanging calamitous. I can't say it even like without the whole thing. Calamitous. Chaotically clanging calamitous. Chaotically clanging calamitous. Clam-mat. It's clams. They're clams. Howdy, folks. I'm Creaky Common Silverbell, chaotically clanging
We can change the word if you need.
calamitous.